All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:04. To begin with, I think we only have one board member hybrid. Will you say your name and your town? We're going to do that from now on for people who are not in person, just so the public knows who's attending hybrid. So go ahead.
So,
Just say your name and your town.
oh, okay.
Because we have our
Jack
cards.
Clarendon?
Yep, thank you. We have our cards, but there's none for you. So we have to have folks introduce themselves if they're on, if they're hybrid. All right, please rise for the Pledge Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so I have a couple of changes to the agenda. After public comment and board discussion of public comments, actually, before we approve the agenda, I want to talk about roll call votes. After the FY25 Audit number 8, I want to put in board retreat and start a discussion about a board retreat. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the agenda. And we also have found out, we're learning all the time, that if we do not have a unanimous decision, we're going to do roll call votes. Okay? So, can I get a motion?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Oh, if we
I missed
don't,
the end of it.
if we
We
don't,
don't have a unanimous decision.
we're going to call for roll call votes.
Oh,
Okay. We're supposed to do that, apparently. Okay, so motion to approve the agenda. Someone like to-
I'll make that
with the
motion.
changes.
As amended?
As
As amended.
amended, thank you. Gray, is there a second?
Second.
Rich, okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Okay, public input, announcements. Anybody online? None?
and Carol, I received an email from a community member,
Okay.
and I'm not sure, I just got it today. I'm not sure exactly how to bring it up. Whether it comes up here or under other business.
Well, I'm not sure. Did you, it should come here if you ask them if they would like to have it read as public comment. Had you asked?
And they said they did.
Okay, so now would be the time.
So you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, yep. Good evening, Mill River Union High School Board. I am writing in regards to the 50th year celebration of Mill River Union High School on Saturday, June 6, 2026. There is currently a small team putting together the day festivities, music, speakers, and food. This is where we need help. I am asking for $1,500 to make the celebration a success. There are a lot of alumni who will be paying to come to the event from out of state and spend money at hotels and places to eat while they are here. We would like to make it easier on families not to have to charge for food, cake, water, drinks, etc. We also need money to advertise and buy decorations for the big event. I figure Mill River has been open for 50 years, and an average class that went through was 100 kids. That is 5,000 kids minimum. So actually a dollar graduate would be amazing, but not unreasonable with such short notice. Please highly consider this request so we can keep our high standards your school has always instilled in us and put on a great 50th celebration of the school and its history. And this is from Jill Lowry Colvin, class of 1982 president.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody have any reaction or?
I mean, I have something to say, just because at the beginning of this process, I was a little bit involved. And I did at the time talk to Stan about putting together some kind of funding, which he said was, possible as long as the board has said it was okay.
Okay.
So this was discussed at the very beginning. I think the main question, and that this came up at the time, is who would administer that, and where it can happen, but there has to be somebody it's in charge of. So I don't know what the structure of the 50th anniversary committee is, but somebody has to be the point person on that and be responsible for it. That was what he told me.
Okay, so in order for the board to take action, we would have to warn it. So we can put it on our agenda for our next meeting. And perhaps, Cheryl, you could follow up with.
Since we don't have a budget line.
Right.
We'd have to figure out, if you were to do it, where the money would come from.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume it'd come out of the Mill River budget, so Stan
Yeah, it
could
would
probably
have to,
find.
but-
So it's just a matter of finding someone to administer it? Would it be like, couldn't Tracy?
I think that would probably be
So
somebody
let's-
who already administers other
Okay, so let's
accounts
put it
for the-
on so it would be funding for 50th.
And how much was the money?
1,500 she asked
That's what I
for?
thought.
Do we need to ask this person for some kind of proposed budget? Like, okay, you're asking us for $1,500.
So we're gonna have it we'll have it on the agenda for the next meeting. And
Right.
so that would be part of the discussion, and then the board can
Okay, so we worry about it
take
then,
action.
basically.
Yeah.
I guess all I'm saying is, in the meantime,
Yeah.
do we want to go back to this person and say, all right, you're asking for $1,500, what do you want to spend it on?
Well, I think once the board approves that, yes.
But-
But we haven't
Well,
approved
that's
it
getting the
yet.
cart behind the horse.
Yeah, I think I agree with Gray. I think it makes sense that Len respond to this person and say, we can't take action. However, for the purposes of our discussion, it would be helpful to know what you want to spend the money on.
Okay,
Yeah, and I don't think it needs to be a 10-page Excel spreadsheet.
yeah.
But for $1,500, but,
And like I said, Stan won't be surprised by that, I believe.
Sounds good.
If I may,
Go ahead.
this came about as a result of a meeting that took place last night, and there will be another meeting tomorrow night as well, where specifics will be drawn up in terms of what the entire weekend looks like. So I think, in answer to your questions, and I understand them, and they make perfect sense, hopefully, after tomorrow night's meeting, there will be some clarification so that when the next board meeting occurs, there'll be some things in place that will help alleviate concerns about this,
Perfect. Okay. That sounds good, Len.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if you could bring that information to the board next time, so that,
Oh, sure, yeah.
thank you. Okay, any other public input or discussion? All right. Okay, approval of the minutes from March 18th, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Rich, and second?
I'll second.
Gray, okay. Any changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. unanimous. So that would be something if we went to a consent agenda that would be under, and unless somebody had changes, like last week we had a bunch of changes, we would vote on that and probably the warrants all at the same time. So we'll look at that. All right. Negotiations Committee. Who's the chair of the negotiations?
Well, there is
committee?
currently no chair.
Oh, no chair, right. So.
I used to be the chair.
Can you pretend to be
Yeah,
the?
is this just so we can, are we scheduling a meeting?
Yeah, I mean, we could have done that under,
It's fine to do it now.
yeah, we'll
It's
do it
on the
now, and
list.
then we won't do it under committee
Yeah.
reports. Does
So-
everybody know who they are?
I am.
Let me
Yeah,
see, I'll
it's-
look. You got it.
Well, off the top of my head, I would just, Kim's now on it.
Josh, Len, Stephen,
That's what I thought.
Two is good.
Kim, and Sarah. That what you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Missing one.
The, right?
Do you have your hand up? No. Go ahead.
So we can meet, there's not an impending, like, timeframe that we need to meet, but we should just meet, I was hoping next month. And this one, we don't have like it's not like, oh, on the first Monday or, you know, whatever. Like, so we can, it's ambiguous, so we can make the meeting anytime. So if we looked at, if there's other meetings that are already scheduled that people are on, we can meet before or after those meetings. Because the only thing really we need to talk about is, one, doing the reorganization, and then looking at the timeline of when we need to start dialoguing, because it'll be the teachers next. And ideally,
That's upcoming, I mean.
yeah, because we want to try to, we want to start doing the process as early as possible so that we don't butt up to the end of the next contract,
Right.
if that makes sense. Go ahead, Len.
Just a question, where are we in terms of the years on those contracts? Do we have like 2 years left, or?
I think there is one more year.
I believe so.
Next year.
Yeah, so I think we have the next fiscal year.
Okay.
And then, so we're gonna hopefully, we are hopefully going to start negotiating in this next year so that we can have that contract be done and we don't have to worry about it.
Is that for the paraprofessionals as well?
No, it's just the teachers, because it's staggered, so the year after that, we'll do
Okay,
that next batch.
Because we did the parents
Okay.
this year.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So is there any specific, because I can just say that if we meet on April 27th at 6 PM, does that work?
Yes,
Because that's jumping on buildings and grounds for me, so that's helpful. It's easier for me.
that's fine.
Does that work?
At what time?
It'll be right after buildings and grounds, so it should be at 6.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And you'll get an agenda to
Yeah.
show me. Okay. All right. So as part of our policies, I believe, annually, we get a report on policy, it's policy F26, use of restraint and seclusion. And Coral's here, I believe, to present to us on that. So go on. Thank you, Coral.
All right. Yes, so Carol's correct. Our policy calls for an annual report to the board regarding the district's implementation of State Board Rule 4500, which is the rule that governs the use of restraint and seclusion in public schools. I think that it's probably obvious from the title, this is not anyone's favorite topic to be talking about. But I am here to sort of talk with you briefly about the district's procedures that are in place and sort of the administrative rulemaking governance that kind of dictates how we operate with regard to this policy. I'm not going to review the definitions in the policy. I know that you all are aware of the policy, but the policy does define what is the operational definition of restraint and seclusion in schools. I do want to be very, very clear with you, though, that Mill River long ago adopted the stance that we do not endorse or condone the use of seclusion. There's a lot of reasons for that, but in general, the research base nationally and internationally really speaks to the idea that when you are managing childhood behavior through the use of seclusion, you are in fact inflicting complicated psychological harm anytime you do it. The research on restraint kind of mirrors some of that, but is generally thought to be less harmful and more appropriate to, managing the array of challenging behaviors that might arise with children in our care. But I just want to be clear with you that when I'm speaking tonight, I'm going to be doing so from the vein of restraint and not at all seclusion. That does not mean that the district could not utilize seclusion, but we do not endorse it or condone it, and we have not in as long as I've been here. So, and probably Carol, you remember even further back. So essentially, the use of physical restraint is a procedure that staff who have been specially trained, those staff are able to execute a series of strategies and techniques in order to physically control or restrict a child's movement. Now, why would we be doing that? Well, we're talking about scenarios where a child, of any age, may be acting out physically in a way that there is now a danger to that child or to others in the environment. When I say danger, I mean that literally. There is an imminent risk of harm if we do not intervene physically to stop that behavior. Someone is going to get seriously hurt. So these things can happen. I feel so fortunate to work in a district where they happen so infrequently that I don't even remember the last time that we saw a restraint. I'm going to talk with you a little bit more about that in a moment. But if these situations were to occur, we have staff who are specially trained in order to be able to respond in a way that is respectful to everyone that's involved, including the acting out individual, and also is done so in a way that safety and care and the welfare of everyone involved is able to be maintained. Our policy has some pretty substantial reporting requirements attached to it. What I mean by that is you don't just come into our schools and put your hands on a kid. That just is not going to be, that's just not going to be something that is going to occur. In order for staff to have to engage physical restraint techniques, that child's behavior has to be so significant and such an imminent risk of harm that there's no other opportunity available to bring that situation into more safety. But when a child does have to be restrained for any reason, that child's parent or guardian has to be notified prior to the end of the school day. And that can happen verbally, but then there also has to be a written report to that parent or guardian that details all of the circumstances related to the event. Additionally, that report is then filed with the building principal, who then needs to file it with me, and I scrutinize it. And then from there, it's determined whether that report actually needs to go on to the Agency of Education or not. And there are very specific criteria that would trigger that upward reporting to the Agency of Education. Things like somebody got hurt, we had to send a staff person to the hospital, or God forbid, a child in our care was injured. You know, these are things that would trigger upward reporting to the state. So, you know, my take, it has been for quite some time, we have a really, really solid and secure system of upward reporting. And that starts at the building level and it goes through the principal, the central office. Those reports would also be shared with Cheryl as well. So the idea of that is that, you know, there's a system of checks and balances. And so that we can also look at ways to improve practice as we need to in the future, and also just to ensure that we are doing everything that we can for kids in our care, because at the end of the day, no one wants to be involved in a situation where we've had to manage a child physically. That is not, I don't think that's a thing any of our educators went into the business to do. But at the end of the day, this is a tool in the toolbox. I will say that our restraint policy does exclude the actions of law enforcement. So that means that our school resource officer and any other law enforcement, you know, that might be present on the campus for any reason, they have different rules that they operate by. So this policy really governs our employees that might be acting in the line of duty. But I also say, you know, I always caution people when I'm speaking about Rule 4500, which I've studied pretty extensively over the years, but, you know, this policy does not apply to what I would call like a Good Samaritan situation where, oh my gosh, we've got a child running for the road. You know, somebody go after that child and stop them from getting into the road. You know, that would not be a restraint in and of itself. That would be like a momentary, you know, life-saving measure at that point. That is not a restraint. A restraint is a very specific set of procedures that's enacted to restrict or control a child's physical movements. We do, the last point I'll make for you, we do utilize a state-approved program known as CPI, or Crisis Prevention and Intervention for short. That's a program that is endorsed at the national level. Many schools use it. Some have gone to other programs, but CPI has been our go-to program. That is the program through which we train staff in the techniques that are to be used. CPI, though, I will say this, 3/4 of the program is geared towards teaching staff how to verbally de-escalate kids. And the last remaining quarter is focused on the physical management piece. And that's because this technique should be used so infrequently. So we want to get staff, you know, really utilizing those verbal strategies first and foremost. But CPI has been our program, and we currently have 2 licensed trainers in the district. It would be great if we had, I personally would like to see 3, just because it can be challenging to keep people up, you know, on the cycle of training. They really need to be trained again every 2 years. So that can be challenging. So 3 has been about a good number for a district our size, but we have 2, and that's what we have. And so those folks re-up their training and their certification as needed, and then they come back and they train our staff, which is a great model for us. So, so I'm happy to answer any questions, provide more information. I know I was talking fast, but please feel free to ask if you'd like to know anything further.
Thank you, Coral.
I did have one question.
Yeah, Dave.
You noted that if someone is, you know, separating a fight, and, you know, maybe pushes 2 kids apart or something like that, or, you know, kids are on the road and has to take action,
Yeah.
and that would, you know, restrain a kid in a way. What are your thoughts on adding something like that to the policy? So formally, people would not feel threatened, like, not threatened, but like
Yeah.
afraid to take action.
No, totally, and I'm sure, I know you're in public school, so you've probably, I'm sure you've
Yeah.
probably talked with, you know, colleagues and stuff that obviously may feel that way. The board could certainly entertain that. I know that that stuff is addressed in the state board rule as well, but that does not mean that it's not confusing to other people. So that is certainly something the board could consider if we wanted to adjust the policy.
Thanks.
I'd like to actually concur with that.
Yeah.
Because I have personally experienced situations
Yeah.
where there was, with children,
Yeah.
there was children who were doing something really dangerous, and
Yeah.
people were afraid to intervene
Yeah.
because they were afraid that they would be
What's going to happen to me?
accused of touching somebody's children.
Yeah.
So I think a good Samaritan exclusion
Yeah.
would be good guidance for
I have-
concerned adults.
Yeah, I'm thinking of so many situations over the years, teachers reaching out
Yeah.
with, yeah, totally, yep.
Well, I'm just adding to that discussion, and I'm reading the AI summary of the policy because it's a lot shorter. It does refer to only trained school personnel are authorized to impose restraint, except in unforeseeable emergencies where trained personnel are unavailable.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like the common sense if two kids are wailing on each other.
Are we gonna
You know,
watch this, or are we
No,
gonna?
first person on the scene is gonna,
Yep, yep, absolutely, you're absolutely right, yeah. Yeah, Rich?
But I think, first off, the policy for 4,500, I don't know what you want to call it, 4,500?
4,500, is that
All
what
right.
I call it? Yeah.
You know, I read through this when I saw it on the thing, and it covers all of this.
Yes, it
And we reference it in our policy to say that our policy is based on that.
Yeah.
And it has like those sorts of,
Scenarios.
yeah, scenarios, the fight that breaking up inside. What I'm wondering about is, our policy also is restraint and seclusion. We don't say anywhere in here that we're not for seclusion.
We do have, that's right, we don't. We have internal procedures that have been circulated by the administration that do explicitly say that, but those are internal procedures. They are not codified in policy. So that would be up to the board if the board wants to. The other, the other side of the coin you might think about is that doesn't mean the district can't utilize that technique. I'm not sure we would ever, again, I mean, you never know what can happen, but I'm not sure we want to go there. But that currently, the way that our policy is written, if we felt we needed to utilize the technique, we could.
And I know this is not an action period, this is discussion, so I'm wondering if, I think that probably needs to go to the policy committee to have that, the conversation about seclusion. Also, we have a new label for it, so it'll be something that we'll need to warn for a future meeting.
I also just wanted to give you guys, because the conversation of seclusion does come up, and I just wanted to sort of give you this to marinate on, because this is just incredibly alarming. So I'm reading a memorandum from the AOE. This is from 2019. This is one of their more recent memorandums on this. But 71% of the seclusions administered in school year 18-19 were done in violation of the rule. So I hope that gives you some idea of why we went this way.
Where's that from?
This is from the State of Vermont Agency of Education. Yep. 71% of all
Does that
the-
mean that someone like lost their temper and
That
locked
means
the kid
that a
in-
child was secluded and there was some violation in the way that process was administered. 71% of all seclusions in the state were done in violation.
Did you say in 18, 19?
This was school year 18-19. Yep.
Oh, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
18, 19.
And that's,
clarification.
We've been to Chip and Hook School now.
yeah, no kidding, yeah, really. This is the most recent memorandum that they had put out on that topic, so I wish I had something more current, but that just gives you some data as to why we went that way in our policy.
I'll just say, Rich, I see you taking notes. It's a recommended C70 for VSBA.
Right, I've got that.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, great, yeah.
And I just want to put out a plug for our educators, though. These people are on boots on the ground, the challenging circumstances that they see and have to work through. And I just, I don't know, I just feel so fortunate to be in a place where I get to see how these people love kids every day. And I hear what other schools struggle with, and I hear the challenges, and I just feel so fortunate that I get to sit here and say that I don't even know when the last restraint was. And that just, I don't know, there's some pride in that, and I just want to hand it to our teachers who are working so hard to make that happen with kids.
Thank you.
Okay, we all set? All right, thank you, Coral. Glad, better you than me on that.
I know. Yep.
I've witnessed it way too many times, and
Yeah.
it's unpleasant, to say the least.
All right.
Stan?
Stan, we're on the audit. Would you like to join us?
He's coming.
Yeah, I know.
He's like on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, Stan deserves a raise for having to read the bureaucratic language in those audit letters. Holy
Stan,
smokes.
give yourself a raise.
Did you put that AI?
I should have.
You make for good reading at night. You have a problem sleeping.
If
All
you
right,
have trouble
exactly.
sleeping, that's
It's a
exactly.
homeopathic cure for insomnia.
The FY25 audit was finally completed. It started back in September due to some regulation changes that we had to update ourselves on that dragged things out. And also, they're one of the few auditors in the state still working on school districts, so they've got a pile of school districts they also have to do, so it tends to push things back, later than what it used to be in the past. But everything we met all the deadlines in regards to filing with the state and also filing with the federal government. In your packet, there was 2 letters that the auditors addressed to the board. One was a management letter stating they conducted the audit, and also if they had found, if there were any findings that they needed to report to the board directly. And the one finding, which we also had in the previous year, was that we have outstanding checks of more than 6 months on our books. So we've made it a priority for this year, but by June 30th, we should have all those checks beyond 6 months cleared up and not have this finding for next year.
Stan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that, I want to clarify, that means that people are not cashing their checks?
Correct. And so it's our job to now go out, investigate as to why they did not cash them, whether or not, and they'll sign a letter stating whether or not the money's still owed to them or not owed to them. And if it's not, we'll reissue a check to them. And if we get no response, then we will write a check to the treasurer's office for unclaimed property. The second letter was, it's called an SAS 114 letter. And that letter, if you read it, just goes over everything that could pop up in the audit in regards to risks, disagreements with management, uncorrected misstatements that were found in the audit. And if you read the letter, you found that there were none of these issues popped up during the audit. It was a clean audit in regards to those issues. Now, getting to that over 100-page report itself, I'm not going to go over line by line, but if somebody wants to, we can meet in my office someday and go over it. But in general, it's a kind of a, they did, like with government and everything, they always think they're simplifying things, but they're not. It's actually, if you look at it, there's 2 types of accounting going on. On pages 13 to 16, it's called the government-wide financial report, and that includes, like if we were a regular business, everything is included on the balance sheet and the revenue statement in regards to assets and liabilities. And then the other pages, 17, 18, are just your standard governmental fund accounting, which everybody's somewhat familiar with, where you just have your general fund and all your special revenue funds, which are like grants and that type of stuff, and the building fund that we report. Things like debt don't get reported on governmental fund accounting, like our bonds, but on the government-wide financial reports, that's all on there. So for example, you would see on that report, it has total assets of almost $17 million. That's including all our property and everything being reported along with the cash. And the liabilities are a little over 8.1 million, and the bulk of that is our bonds, which are around 4.7 million that we owe in our bond debt at the end of 25. And also they do a calculation in regards to the actuarial value of the pensions. There isn't a liability for the teachers, that's the sole responsibility of the state. The municipal retirement, the school district is responsible for contributing a percentage of each individual's wages. So that liability, which goes out, how they calculate it based on age and death rates, is around 1.9 million. So basically, you got 6.6 million in debt tied into those two areas, bond debt and pension debt. In regards to pages 108 to 117 of that report, that's the single audit report. That's what we get in grants, and those are in federal grants, and those are specifically audited because that's a requirement. We receive over $750,000 in federal dollars, so we're required to have an audit of those funds. That last page is a good one. It's page 117. It'll show you what the results were on that last of the audit, and no is a good thing because it basically every question is answered with a no as to whether or not there was findings, errors, misstatements, and that type of stuff. And we're considered a low risk auditee based on the fact that we haven't had much in findings or any findings over the last X amount of years. So that's a good thing. That last page is really what we strive to get. Does anybody have any questions?
How, do you have an idea, because we just finished a bond this past year, right? And then do you know off the top of your head, like, how many more years of bonds do we have?
Yeah, the one we paid off this past year was a old high school bond. We still have one from the renovation that they did, I think, back in the 90s, and I think there might be 2 years. That one goes to maybe 27, 28, and that would leave us with the Wallingford bond, which is that started in 2014, so that goes to 2034, and then we have the 2 district bonds that we did in 2018 and 2019, which those would go out to 2038 and 39.
Thank you.
All right, looks like everybody's satisfied.
Great.
Thank you. Do we need to take any action?
You could accept the audit as presented.
Okay, just to have that.
Yeah, have
Sure.
that on.
So moved.
Okay, motion to accept the
I'll second it.
audit. Josh seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
Dan, good job.
You can stay here.
He spies on us from his office.
I can see him over there.
Okay, so the next agenda item is the one we added, board retreat. I just wanted to start us thinking about it. We don't have to make any big plans tonight. And I just, what I would like to everybody think about, do we want to do a training where we have a topic that we want someone to come in and do some training from VSBA? They offer that. We pay them, but they offer that. It can be around board goal setting. It can be around, board. They have a whole list of things. I had it pulled up, and of course I lost it. Let me see if it's still there. That would be amazing.
Could you send us that list that we could
Yeah, that's
review?
what I was wondering. So, yeah, I was thinking of sending you kind of like a survey again, where you could check off which topics you might be interested in it, blah. And then also, if, you know, whether you prefer training or just what we've done in the past, which I just actually looked at, and what we did in the past was, I just had it pulled up. It's not there. We did our, we did our board goals review, we did a bylaws review, we had several topics that we talked about, which is more of a, if we do that, then it's a meeting, a special meeting, we have to warn it, have an agenda, do minutes. If we have a training, we do not have to do that. Okay, so, not that it matters, not a big deal to do that. So I will, okay, Len, hang on. I will send out some topics for training, and I'll also check with Debbie Singheiser, who is the trainer in our area.
When is this happening approximately?
That's one of the things we have to, last year we did it, August, we did it in
So in the
August, in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
During the summer, we only have one meeting a month, June, July, and August. We've only had one meeting unless we need to. So that would be, we could do it in August. It might be better to do it earlier in the summer, particularly if we're doing goal setting. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up that I'll be looking for input. Lenny? Len, go.
Yep, sorry. I'm just gonna throw out, I do think we need to take the time to look at the bylaws again. I mean, we were talking just in personnel tonight about some bylaw changes, so I think we need to take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we don't have a bylaw around student rep.
We don't have a what? I'm sorry.
We don't have bylaws around our student rep to our student board member. It's not part of our bylaws, so there's no criteria and that's one of the things Addie and I are trying to work on. And also, this is a bird walk, but on April 14th, Addie is going to be part of the student panel for the VSBA webinar on student reps at board meetings. So sign up for it even if you can't attend it, because then you'll get the recording. So she's, she's great. All right, but I'm pretty sure she's going to do it, last I heard. So, so we're trying to make that a little bit more of a formal situation or formal position, and what the criteria is for the member as part of the board. Somebody over here had their hand up?
Oh, no, it's passed. But since it got the moment, what is a bird walk?
Oh, it's where you go off the topic. And you kind of
Oh, okay, all right.
You're
thank
kind of
you.
like a tangent. It's a tangent.
Thank you.
I call it wandering into the weeds.
Yeah, I call it bird walk. All right, well, thank you.
Question was a bird walk.
Yeah,
That was your question, too?
yeah, what's a bird walk?
No.
Put that in the minutes.
Joking.
I am kidding. All right, committee reports.
We're here to, we're learning. It's education.
I make stuff up a lot, too.
I will tell you, Rich, because of you, every time I use an acronym, I identify it.
Thank you.
So that's.
I actually bought the bell, but my wife said it would be rude for me to bring it.
All right. Personnel, Lenny, committee report.
Hi there, Len Doucette, representative from Clarendon, Hybrid. We had our personnel committee meeting tonight. We did not have any changes in terms of staffing. We are in the midst of discussing roles and responsibilities of the committee, and our next meeting will be May 6th at 6.
Rich, policy.
we have not met since the last, the policy committee has not met since the last board meeting. We have our next meeting scheduled for April 14th. I'm just checking to make, at 6 PM.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Building and grounds, I guess we have an action item here.
We do.
Okay, go Josh.
So we had our buildings and grounds on Monday, last Monday, this Monday? They all blur together, last Monday.
Last Monday.
And unfortunately, it was a short meeting just because we did a whole bunch of meetings stacked on top of each other, so we didn't do a ton except for reorganizing, and had more community members come out to talk about Mill River. And one of the things that we need to take action on, it wasn't ready for that Monday, is a bid to start attempting to improve the field. So everybody should have gotten an email talking about the bid from Murkowski. I think,
Who would have sent
oh,
it?
maybe Meryl
It
just
would
sent
have
it.
come in the, and I'm not sure it was in the
I don't
packet.
think
It might not
was
have been in the packet.
I do have a
might
copy
have just
here, I
been to
can
me.
make more if you would
Yeah.
like.
Is it on, do you have a,
Could I get one of those?
do you have a
Yeah.
file on it?
Yes. I
Maybe you
can-
could just forward the file to
Okay, it's
the
gonna
board.
take me a few minutes to find it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and then just there's gonna be a community meeting tomorrow. Is it at 6 or 5?
Five
Five.
to 6.
Where community members can come and they can talk about it with Tim and Cheryl will be there, and I'll
What
be there.
time?
From 5 to 6, Len, in the library.
But, so, this contract, well, what we're voting on is for Murkowski Excavation to do the prep work for the field. And so it includes non-potable well up to 300 feet. It includes bringing in an amount of topsoil. It's not like a complete overhaul of bringing in like tons of soil, because the time frame of doing that and then having the field be ready by next year is just not possible. And the sooner we can get this signed in, basically, once the field conditions are amenable to being worked, they'll start working on it. It's all, contingent on whether or not if it stops raining, they can get to it sooner. If it keeps raining, it'll
This
take
is the
longer.
right time of the year.
But this would be the time of year, because it's gonna basically, to have the site work done, the grass seeded, the well dug, and then being able to move forward so there's actual real turf on the field for the fall season, it has to start as soon as possible.
And I think your point is that the thing that we want to control that is when, as soon as conditions are good, we want to be able to go. So we need to get this contract done.
Yeah, I think Len was next.
Okay. Len?
Yeah, just a question. Is this just the football field?
Yeah, it's just that field section
Or
of.
soccer? Football,
Yeah,
soccer,
it's that, it's what we all think of as the main field area, right? It's not, doesn't include any of the other, like the baseball field or the practice field that's currently what was being, like, that the soccer teams were playing on. So,
Thank you.
and I think this is the reasonable step forward where we are we're asking, the company to come in to do work. The adding of the watering is one of the biggest hurdles, because the field is just so sandy. And so being able to water during that time period is important. And then I think, and we'll be able to talk about this further, and it's not really like our job as the board, it's the administration's job to be dealing with it, is, all right, now that we've gotten us maybe 80% of the way, 90% of the way, what's that last 10% that they can do to keep the ball moving forward? I think this is what we had been talking about in buildings and grounds, of what we'd expect to see. And then, I think the big question, the question is how do we, we can't guarantee anything, but we can try to do the best setup that we can do.
I think Ray was first.
Oh,
sorry.
no, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. I like the way you put it about how this is, the 90% of the way there, and we've got to figure out the rest of the way forward to maintain it. I think there's going to be potentially a lot of public attendance tomorrow. And then I'll just sort of add that I continue to be concerned about the fact that we keep only getting one bid to just about every
Yeah.
RFP.
And this one is,
I think instead of, we kind of talked about making some changes to that process and buildings and grounds. Oh gosh, I don't remember when.
Yeah.
But I think we need to make that happen because we're going to get raked
Yeah.
over the coals over and over again.
yeah, I think for this particular one,
Yeah,
just because of the constraints, I think there was a possibility of some other bids, but because of how the situation works, this is the one that was going to work out. And then I do think you are correct in that it is a problem, and I don't know if we have the solution. We were talking about trying to get more people to do outreach outside, trying to get more local tradespeople just aware that things are occurring, because it's a lot of the medium stuff that's the problem. Sometimes the big stuff, it's like, well, there's the one company that does the job, But, go ahead.
Because I'm a resident of Wallingford, I noticed that in their, I don't remember if it was the town newsletter or what, but they put out the list of bids they got for the School Street sidewalk project, and they got like 9. Wow. So we're doing something different.
Yeah.
And I know there's state or federal money involved in that, so it changes the game a lot, but we've got to try to get more than one bid to projects of this scale.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
But I am going to vote to move forward with this particular bid.
No, but I think that I don't think it's a bad topic to just keep harping on, because it is a problem.
I have a question too.
Okay, all right. How about if we make a motion?
Right.
Oh,
that's
that's-
a big
I'm
one.
sorry, we shouldn't have been doing any of
I
this.
think you needed to introduce the whole aspect, and then we'll make the motion, and then we can
Okay.
answer questions or have discussion. So Ned, you want to make that motion?
Sure, I will move to, accept the bid from Markowski Excavating to renovate the main field
Yeah.
at Mill River High School.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. Grace seconded. Discussion. Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
So I was just curious if, and maybe it's written in here, I didn't see it. Is there any sort of guarantee or warranty? Because I know with the last big job that was done with landscaping, there was some discussion that it wasn't done as well as it should have, and that there were questions about. So does
Yeah,
this,
so
does the more detailed bid include
Well, right, so
a
this
guarantee?
is just so for our level, this is the proposal, right?
Okay,
When they go and do the actual like contract work, that's something else. And just to be clear, though, there is a discrepancy between like the work that was done was signed off by an independent engineer that said everything was acceptable. So on their end of the work, they got a check mark that got sent and said, you have done the job correctly, right? And then we have the sports
There's separate issues.
said, this isn't acceptable. So, that field has been bad for a long time. And so were we just riding this edge the whole time where it was almost always unacceptable, and then it just took a little bit of teetering to the other side? That would be and then it just happened to be the worst possible year for that to try to redo. But so that is, we can ask for them to, have specific wording put in and things like that, but it's not really what we do.
I mean, just to try to fix it
Yeah.
if there's an obvious deficit.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that they had come back several times at Tim's request.
Okay, and I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to be critical there, I was
Oh,
just
no, I know.
curious if,
But I
But
think
it's-
it's
yeah.
important. They will not guarantee.
yeah, because how can you guarantee with
'Cause you
something depending on the
can't.
weather?
I mean, if we have a drought, we'll be fine because we have the watering system, right? But if we end up with the opposite side and too much water, that's not something we can control.
Right.
Then our sandy surface will be excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, they're they're laser leveling, they're doing the stuff for field prep work. It's a thing that they do, so they should be able to do it. But I think Kim had her
Yeah,
hand
Kim
up
was
first.
Well, Rich did.
No, I think you were first.
Oh, okay. I was just curious why we don't have a budget from them. Like, we have a very specific number, but there's not a breakdown of the cost.
Because that's not really what we would see all the time. That's, Tim, I'm sure, has it, because I know he knows how much the well is gonna cost and things like that. But we don't necessarily see that at
Okay.
our level. We
This
could
is
ask
the
for
over-
it. But yeah, this is
Okay.
us saying, we are,
Authorizing that.
we are,
Then
yeah,
I have
we're.
a follow-up question then. Is this in the realm of what we budgeted for, what we are expecting?
Yeah, so in general, so when we were talking about the big ask for the buildings and grounds voting line, we had a rough idea of what the paving was gonna cost and like kind of around what that was gonna be, and that ballpark was like gonna be in the $700,000 or $800,000. So this is in
In there.
the place where we thought it was gonna be, close to it.
So this is budgeted.
It's not budgeted, but we budgeted for, so when we were talking about this, because we knew this and the paving were gonna be huge items that we were gonna have to spend on. So we said, well, we're going to ask for our normal amount of surplus that we had been asking for. And then on top of that, we're gonna ask for this other bigger chunk of money as well. And so that is, so we also will have our normal amount of sinking fund money or buildings and grounds fund money if there's other things that come up. So if it's high or low, there's still wiggle room. Somebody over there, I don't know which one is.
I just want to try to connect the dots. Maybe this is for you, Josh, maybe it's for our superintendent, but between this and tomorrow's meeting, I had the impression that tomorrow's meeting was listening, having the public come in and listening, and if that's the case, is it wise for us to make a decision tonight and then pretend to listen tomorrow? Or do we want to make a decision tonight so that we can show action that we have made to those who come to hear about the progress tomorrow? I'm trying to understand the purpose of tomorrow's meeting.
So the purpose of tomorrow's meeting is informational and to listen. So the way we're looking at it is, this is our short-term solution, right? Because we need that field ready for the fall. So if things work as they should, we will have a playable field in the fall. We then may decide, buildings and grounds, the community, what are their thoughts? Because there's lots of ideas floating out around there. Chance was actually playing with moving a field this way and that way. All those things come at a cost. So we would want to see, we want to tell them, this is our plan to move forward with this, and then we
What
can
else?
consider other things in the future.
And it's not prudent for us then to wait on this in case we get those great ideas tomorrow?
If those great ideas are going to cost us millions of dollars, are going to be a bond.
I like Rich's idea. I think we.
Oh, it's not my idea. It was a
No,
question.
No, I
yeah.
think that's great to wait until after the community meeting.
Can
If we
I-
wait for
so
that,
at
though,
the-
we may not have.
At the buildings and grounds, we had, as Josh said, this room was filled. Sorry, Ned, I'm going to jump in. Maybe this is what you were going to say. And the thing they wanted to know was, why haven't you gotten started on this
Okay.
already?
All right.
So I think having this plan, right?
Yeah, go ahead, you're right.
No, having this plan to get it started is what they want to hear.
I was trying to
And then-
understand the connection.
yes.
Thank you.
And then, tomorrow, we'll get recommendations of how are we gonna, okay, this is great, we're gonna have the field, grass is gonna be planted, it's gonna, how are we maintaining it? How, what's the plan for maintaining it? And the public might have input on that. I know we have the groundskeeper, but there are a lot of experts in turf management, which is what I've been talking to people about, where you can have someone come in and work with your groundskeeper. This is how you maintain good grass on this surface. People who do golf courses and stuff like that, and people who do fields. All right, so I'm gonna have Ned
Just
and then
one
Matt.
very minor note. I think the concerns I have heard from the public, inside and outside of meetings, are that this is a starting point and then what's after it.
Okay, thank you.
And that's to be determined.
Right.
So have we already established that there was no fault to the previous contractor? Like we find through the contract and there's like nothing holding them liable?
Correct.
Correct.
They did what they were.
They did everything and they got it signed off,
Yes.
so there's no liability on their end?
No.
Right.
No. And my concern, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in, but my concern is if you wait till next month, we may not be able to get them because this is their busy season. So I want to make sure that we can share, if you approve of this, the contract so we can get started.
Well, if we waited until the next meeting, let's say, we could get another bid potentially, right? I kind of like the idea of
He
more
had-
than one bid.
Well,
There were,
there were four people,
But,
four
yeah.
companies
but
that
you didn't
And
really
none of them
want to
bid.
make the
They asked
bids.
they didn't want to
questions.
bid.
Yeah. Great, head, so I.
Okay.
just-
So, a couple points.
Free flow.
And this is, we've been hearing about this now for 2 years.
Right.
It is the single, aside from the cell phone issue, it is the thing that has drawn out by far the most negative public comment on multiple occasions, angry parents. We absolutely have to act. We cannot delay. We would be derelict in our duty of listening to the public. And because you haven't been present at those meetings, it's not, you don't kind of get the depth of feeling that people have about this topic.
I just want to say it's positive energy, though.
Right,
Yeah.
they want to see progress.
It's positive energy, but it's a big deal for folks.
Right,
Like,
right.
I was actually quite shocked by how important it seemed to be, because
Yeah.
I'm not really an athlete.
Yeah.
Maybe, yes. So I think that we absolutely need to act on this and a month is a big deal, and as far as seasonality in terms of getting the job done
is
and the
it.
weather and all of that. And my other comment is, and I'm not an engineer, but it seems to me that the amount of money we're spending for the scope of work detail on that page, it seems pretty fair to me.
Yeah.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just to reiterate, the meeting that is tomorrow like, one of the reasons that this is, like, we even have the money for this and why we're talking about this is because when we were doing the budgeting plan for this year and we were having the community meetings, though this is what we were hearing, and then when we were doing buildings and grounds all of last fall, because it was obviously a huge topic, that the football wasn't being able to do it and the boosters weren't being able to raise funds and things like that, that we were hearing from the public. To reiterate of just like what the meeting is tomorrow is like, okay, now we have taken action. Let's see what we can do as a community to move forward. Because I think there's still a gap of space where we can make improvements. And I think no matter what we do, to be able to play on the field, the plans that a lot of the community members have, I think, to Cheryl's point, are just plans that are multi-year, multi-budget.
I was just gonna encourage to get that into the principal's weekly newsletter in the future.
Yeah.
I know that this specific meeting is not gonna happen
Yeah.
in the future, but just, that's a good way to connect, yeah.
Sure.
Thank-
All right.
To call the question.
Oh, thank you. I was just
Thank you
going to
very
do
much.
that. Okay. All in favor of approving this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unanimous? Okay.
Quick, go call them right away.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
can
I
move
mean-
forward. And, if anybody's available tomorrow night.
I'm laughing, but there will be a call tomorrow morning.
All right. Community engagement. I think we scheduled a meeting.
Yeah, our last meeting was March 18th. Would have been reorg, but there wasn't enough people for quorum. So our next meeting is April 15th at 6:30, and that'll be the reorg meeting.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, and our buildings and grounds is on the 27th at 5.
Okay.
Okay, when's the meeting tomorrow? I know we just said it like 5 times.
5 o'clock.
5.
Oh, okay.
And yours is at 6:30. It's after something.
Is it?
No, it's
I don't
prior.
think so.
Oh, no, it's prior to the board
I
meeting.
think it's just us, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, the Superintendent's Evaluation Ad Hoc Committee met. We reviewed the input that we got. Thank you to everybody who participated. And we have a follow-up meeting, May 12th at 6 o'clock, I think. Wait a second. Oh, I hate this calendar when I try and do it here. Yes, May 12th.
At 5.
It's not on there.
It's May 12th at 5.
At 5,
At 5?
yeah.
Here, obviously.
Yeah.
Here.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
May 12th at 5 o'clock.
Which day?
May 12th.
May 12th.
It's a Tuesday, it's before the policy
Oh.
meeting.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
May 12th to 6?
What time is it?
5.
5,
At 5.
yeah. It's before
So a Tuesday.
policy. That's the one I was thinking of. That was the same as another meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, Shawnee will send out, you might have
The
sent
ad
out.
hoc's already
invites.
on the
Yeah.
calendar.
Yeah, that's on there, but the policy is.
Isn't it?
Okay,
No.
negotiations, you kind of covered that, right?
Yes,
So
we're good
we
for
can skip
negotiations.
that. Okay, pay orders.
I could read them.
Thank you.
Read them in their absence. Let me pull them
Please.
up.
You want me to give
Or
them,
start with payroll.
is it easier for you on paper?
Here.
No worries. That is.
No.
Yes.
I-
Since they
It's
do
much
have
better.
young eyes then.
I forget what I say, but presenting a payroll warrant in the total of.
A motion to
A
approve.
motion to accept the payroll warrants in the total of $670,598.56.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Okay,
Next, I'd like to read the.
unanimous. Unanimous, I'm just
accounts-
giving the count.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to approve the accounts payable warrants in a total of $282,404.87.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ray? Any
guess-
discussion?
As well as, sorry,
Oh, he's gonna add
a
to.
student activity warrant in a total of $100.
Well, I can't second that. Just kidding, sorry. Just call me a jerk. Second.
Any discussion? Any questions, Matt? No? All in favor? Okay. All right.
Yeah. That was the cover page, that's why I took it, I'm sorry.
Okay. Transact other legal business. Anybody have anything for that? Okay. So agenda building. I've been jotting stuff down. So we're going to put funding for the 50th anniversary. Lenny, you're going to help us out with that around specifics. And then I was going through like last year's agendas just to see what kinds of topics we had. And so I'm just going to present these. I'm going to ask Cheryl to kind of follow up on what we can and can't do. So we had input from the after-school program. We had a sports update. So actually, like our next meeting, the second meeting in April was an after-school program update. The first meeting in May was a sports update. We had an intervention update. I believe that was the literacy intervention, but I'm thinking we might want a math intervention update if they're willing to come and tell us how it's going and give us some feedback on how that's working.
Should we do that
And
next
then-
meeting or in May?
Whatever, just
Oh, you're just
whatever,
putting- okay.
I'm putting out whatever, you know, you can, whatever works
Yeah.
for them.
When will the VTCAP results be available?
Last year, it wasn't until.
I believe that is not till early
Wow,
fall.
still, right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
what, yeah.
Something to think about, though.
Yeah.
But we should have a presentation on that in the
100%.
fall.
Yes, for sure, and even maybe something on the stars,
Yeah.
because you
Oh.
get those right away,
That we
right?
can do, yep.
Yeah, and we should do a goal review of our current goals, just kind of look at those, see what kind of progress, how they're, you know, how it's feeling, are we kind of meeting our goals? Any other ideas for future agenda items, or just kind of trying to get Cheryl a, kind of a list?
Gray had the comment last time of the,
What the heck was it?
it was.
It was a
It was
brilliant
good.
comment.
No, it was just about off-duty officers. I think.
Oh,
That
for-
was going to.
Oh.
That
be-
was gonna go to
You were-
policy.
Oh, it was gonna go to policy, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
That's
remembering.
right, now I remember.
Yeah,
Carol, I just have two other
Sure.
things
yeah,
that I noticed. Last year, you had teacher appreciation planning.
yeah.
And just note that our next meeting is in Shrewsbury,
Oh, okay,
next
next
meeting's in
meeting in
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury. So
which means there'll be.
if we can backtrack to other legal business, we do have a plan for teacher appreciation. I have a plan.
Oh, yeah?
And
We love a plan.
it's a surprise, but, no, so you're gonna hear it, it's fine. We're gonna get, collapsible water bottles, and, I've talked to JT, now he's on the hook, because I said it, about a student designing a logo, a teacher appreciation logo to go on it. So I've already researched it and checked with Stan. We have a little bit of money to do it, and that's what we're gonna do.
Cool.
That's okay with everybody. I figure teachers have enough mugs, but water bottles you lose, so can't have too many. All right. Okay, so I think we're gonna move to executive session. We have two. We're gonna do one, come back, take action or not, and then we'll go into our second. Thank you.
Thanks.
Keep this secret.
If it gets out, we'll know who
Of course,
did it.
it's not
Yeah, it's
on,
not recorded.
it's not on YouTube, or anything.
You'll watch this, right?
Yes.
Watch it live, yeah.
The motivation. Okay, so, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Do we do
To-
that anyway?
Yeah, well, that's the second one.
Yep.
You got it. That's all right. Because premature general knowledge would place the public body or person involved at substantial disadvantage because the board is discussing labor relation agreements. Can I get a motion to,
A motion.
okay, and a Steve? and
Second.
Gray's second. Now I need a motion to go into executive session and invite
You need
Cheryl.
to vote on that one first.
Oh, sorry.
Details, Lynn.
All in favor? I made the assumption, sorry. Unanimous. Now I need a motion to go into executive session and invite Cheryl.
So moved.
Matt, you want a second? Matt and Sarah second. Okay, we're gonna go.
We gotta vote.
Len,
Oh, we
gotta
gotta
vote.
vote.
Gotta
All in
vote
favor? Sorry. Okay, unanimous. We are out of executive session at
8:27.
8:27. Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, what's her name, Melissa
Melissa
Todd's,
Todd's
leave of absence?
request for leave of absence. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
And Lenny abstains, please.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right. So roll call. Rich, yay or nay? It's not unanimous, so,
You have to, yeah.
okay.
it is unanimous.
Yay.
Well, he abstained, so.
That's, abstain is
Okay, I'm
outside
going
of the
with,
denominator.
all right, I'm going with our policy guy, okay. All in favor, Lenny abstain. Okay.
There you go.
All right, so now, I need a motion to enter executive session.
I would like,
Because premature general knowledge will place public body or person involved at a substantial disadvantage because the board is discussing labor relation agreements.
so moved.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Rich seconded. All in favor? Okay. Motion to go into executive session and invite Cheryl.
I'll make that motion.
Gray, Lenny seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. We are out of executive session at 8:44.
You know, I don't remember.
But I just feel like it's worth
And-
re-examining is what I'm trying to say. Or trying to, yeah.
Not encapsulated as voted. I was upset, John.
And we will not be taking any action,
I was upset.
Okay,
okay?
Great.
I concur.
So,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn at
second it.
8:45. All those in favor? Vote with your feet.
Wait a minute, I was going to vote no.
Roll call vote.
You are welcome to
You
stay here,
missed
Craig.
us. We'll be back in 2 weeks.